It was a cold, foggy morning when Sarah found herself at the edge of the old forest. She had heard the legends for years, tales of a hidden truth buried deep within the woods, a truth only revealed to those who had the patience to wait. The forest was said to test those who entered, granting them wisdom or leaving them lost forever. Sarah, desperate for answers, had decided to seek out this truth, but as the fog thickened around her, doubt began to creep in. Was she ready for what awaited her? Would the forest grant her the wisdom she sought, or would it claim her as yet another lost soul? Sarah stepped cautiously into the forest, the ground beneath her feet soft and damp. Every sound seemed amplified. Her footsteps, the rustling of leaves, and the distant calls of birds hidden in the trees. She remembered her grandmother's words, "Patience is the key, my dear. The forest reveals its truth to those who listen." Sarah wasn't sure what that meant, but she felt it was her only guide. She had been searching for answers for so long, answers about her past, her family, and her purpose. Could the forest really offer the wisdom she craved? Or was she chasing an illusion? She took a deep breath and pressed on, each step bringing her deeper into the unknown. As Sarah ventured deeper into the forest, time seemed to lose its meaning. The world around her felt still, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. The trees stretched high above, their branches tangled together, blocking out the sky. There was no path to follow, only the dense, untamed wilderness. Hours passed, and Sarah began to wonder if the forest had forgotten her, or worse, if it had rejected her. The weight of the silence was overwhelming. But then, in the distance, she noticed something strange, a faint glow, like the soft light of a lantern, flickering through the trees. Could it be the answer she had been seeking? Without thinking, she moved toward it. As she drew closer to the glowing light, Sarah's heart raced. She pushed aside branches and brambles, determined to reach the source. After what seemed like an eternity, she arrived at a small clearing. In the center stood an ancient stone well, its surface covered in moss and vines. The glow came from within the well itself, a faint light pulsing from deep inside. Sarah knelt by the well, mesmerized by the sight. There was something strangely calming about the light, yet something in the back of her mind warned her to be cautious. The forest had already tested her patience, but now it seemed to be offering something more, something precious. But what was it, and why did it feel so important? Sarah reached out to touch the edge of the well, her fingers brushing against the cool stone. Suddenly, a voice echoed in her mind, soft yet commanding. "Patience." Sarah jerked her hand back, startled. Was it real, or was it just her imagination? The forest seemed to be alive, watching her every move. The voice returned, more insistent this time. "You must wait. The answer will come, but not in your time." Sarah stood frozen, the words sinking deep into her thoughts. The light from the well flickered again, brighter this time, as if beckoning her to trust in the unknown. But her heart was pounding. Was the forest playing a game with her? Or was it testing her in a way she couldn't yet understand? Time seemed to slow as Sarah waited by the well, every minute stretching into what felt like an eternity. The forest was silent once again, as if it, too, was holding its breath. The sun had long since disappeared, and the night began to fall. Sarah's legs were sore, and her stomach rumbled, but she refused to leave. The forest had spoken to her, and she wasn't about to give up now. "Patience," she whispered to herself, trying to steady her racing thoughts. How long would she have to wait? What would happen when the forest finally revealed its secret? She didn't know, but she understood now that this was part of the process. She had to trust in the journey, even if the answers were still hidden from view. Just as Sarah was beginning to feel the weight of the weight, a faint rustle in the trees caught her attention. She turned quickly, her heart leaping in her chest. Out of the shadows stepped an old woman, her face wrinkled with age and wisdom, her clothes tattered but somehow dignified. She carried a walking stick, leaning on it as she approached Sarah. "You've waited long enough," the woman said, her voice soft but firm. "You've shown the forest the patience it required. Now, the truth is yours." Sarah's heart pounded. Was this the moment she had been waiting for? The woman motioned toward the well. "Look inside, and you will see what you seek." Sarah hesitated for a moment, then peered into the well. The light within seemed to swirl and shift, casting strange, moving shadows on the stone walls. She leaned closer, her breath catching in her throat. As she looked deeper, the images inside the well became clearer. Visions of her past, her struggles, and the moments that had shaped her. But there was more. Visions of her future, of choices yet to be made, and paths she had yet to walk. The truth was not a single answer, but a collection of moments, a reminder that life was shaped by patience and the decisions made along the way. Sarah understood then. The wisdom of patience wasn't wasn't about waiting for a single truth, but about allowing life to unfold at its own pace. As the light from the well began to fade, Sarah felt a deep sense of peace settle over her. She had come seeking answers, but what she had found was far more valuable: understanding. The forest had shown her that the answers she sought were not always immediate, nor were they always clear. Patience was not just about waiting. It was about embracing the journey, trusting that with time, clarity would come. The woman smiled gently at Sarah, as if knowing she had found what she needed. "The forest has tested you," the woman said softly, "but now you know that true wisdom lies in knowing when to wait and when to act." Sarah left the forest that night, her heart light and her mind clearer than it had ever been. She had learned that patience was not just a lesson, it was a way of life. It was in every decision, every moment of waiting, and every step forward. The wisdom of patience would guide her from that moment on, teaching her that not everything could be rushed, and that sometimes the best things in life came to those who waited. As she walked back into the world, Sarah knew that the journey she had started in the forest was just the beginning. The forest had shown her the power of patience, and now it was up to her to carry that wisdom forward.